Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of Adam's Accounts. This is the mid-season finale because I'm taking a break next week, but we're halfway through the first season of Adam's Accounts. We have three accounts on the show. As always, first up, our rotating segment this week, the interview account. Up next, bringing on our very special guest, Hunter Athlete. You'll find out who that is in a minute if you don't already know and didn't look at the description. And finally, Adam's final account, where the chat will decide a little bit of what I talk about, and I'll talk about something else that will be, I'm sure, of interest as well. So without further ado, let's get right into the interview account. Hello and welcome to the first segment of the show, the interview account, another pre-recorded, pre-edited segment. I went through and asked everybody similar question, phrased a little bit differently, but the same question. So let's take a look at what people responded. Who is your favorite sports player of any sport?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, any sports?
Dansby Swanson.
Okay, there was this Ohio State quarterback college football a few years ago. His name was JT Barrett. He had like the best arm. And he had like the most runs of any quarterback. And now he's pro. I don't know what team he's on. I haven't kept up with him. He's a good actor.
Darius Slade.
Probably like Coco Golf or something.
It's Sudani. Let's go.
Yuki Nishida, she's the right side for the Japanese national. Really, that's
Sports player.
Easy.
All right, well, we heard some responses there. I'm looking forward to doing more interview accounts in the future. But for now, it is time to shift to the main segment of our show, the athlete's account. Welcome to Ben Kwan.
Hey, happy to be here, Adam.
Video.
What's going on?
He went from the interview account to the athlete's account. So he's in two segments, a new record today. So, Ben, if you didn't know, you were on the Hunter bowling team this year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So how'd that go for you? Because I know season's over, but how'd it go for you overall?
It was an amazing season overall. Just like a wonderful atmosphere for everybody. Got a great captain. Just like everybody's always so supportive, and it's just like a great, fun sport.
Well, going on to that, how did you guys do in terms of placement and in terms of record and all that?
Okay. So in Manhattan, we were undefeated, actually. We went like 10-0. Teams were forfeiting left and right because of our just amazingness. Then we went into the playoffs. We had to go all the way to Staten Island to face a team. They're 1-8 because they're in like a really hard division. And we got it into 3 sets. We took the B game and we just got crushed. I mean, that's all it really is.
You mentioned the B game there. There might be people. Can you explain the bowling format? I know the bowling format, but there are going to be some people who certainly do not know the bowling format.
Definitely. All right. So there's 8 players playing at the beginning. There's 4 people on the A team and 4 people on like a B team. You would add up the points from one team against another. If one team has more than the other, then they get that set. And you play both. It's first to 2 sets wins. So if some team sweeps another team, then the game is over. But if it's 1-1, you go into a C game when you bring your 4 best bowlers in for one final game.
So those are just 4 bowlers that
any 4 players from A or B. Any 4 players from A or B, or you can bring in like a substitute from a different standpoint.
All right, so that's really interesting. But we had some other professional sports news this weekend, specifically football. We had a great back-to-back football game for the Giants, then the Jets. The Giants only lost like I don't like
Only.
only lost like 42-10 or something ridiculous like that. I mean, any reactions to it? How do you like Tommy DeVito so far?
Oh my god. Well, overall, that game just crushed me as a Giants fan. I really thought we had a chance this year for the playoffs, but I guess it ended up coming short. We lost to the Cowboys week 1, 40-0. So that already had me sad. I knew coming into this game that we did not have very good chances, but I did not expect what happened. Like we lost by like 5 touchdowns, I think. It's not very fun. Tommy DeVito, like I'm very surprised. He came in a really interesting spot. Both Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor, the first and second string QBs, came down with injury, and he was really put on the spot there. I mean, he's like in a really interesting situation, as I just said. I saw once that he's still living with his parents, so he's definitely not expecting to start this game. I mean, he is not very good. It's not really fun having him as quarterback. He can't throw the ball more than like 10 yards. And that really caused our running back, Saquon, who is our star, to like get consistently stopped as there is no wide receiver options really.
Yeah, here's the question, Ben. Here's my question for you. Do you think that they would have been better with their backup running back at QB, Saquon at running back, and then running the read option the whole game?
Honestly, yes. Like even Saquon, I'm not trying to hate Tommy DeVito. I'm sure he's put a lot of work, a lot of determination into his game, but I'm sure Saquon Barkley could throw a better spiral than him. So even if that would work, I mean, Saquon gets like 4 yards per gain every single time he just runs it. Every once in a while, you run like a trick play, he like passes it. Yeah, I think we would have lost by like 20 instead of 35, maybe.
Ooh.
Honestly, that's a really big step up because we have not been doing well this year.
Switching gears a little bit to the Jets, who also lost yesterday in a very different kind of game. Very even game, actually.
A lot of field goals.
I mean, you don't think that there were many you don't think that there were many New York football fans right now based on how these teams have performed over the last few years. But it was a great atmosphere at that stadium yesterday. And it was packed. And just imagine how empty it would have been if the game weren't played in Oakland.
Oh my God, yeah.
Las Vegas, sorry. I keep swearing.
Las Vegas. Bro, the Oakland Raiders. All right.
For those counting, I've now made that mistake twice. So you know. I made it on the wheel once, and I just made it again. So from now on, I will refer to the Las Vegas Raiders as the Oakland Raiders for ease of mind. You guys should figure that out. But yeah, any thoughts on the Jets? And they lost yesterday. They're possible playoff hopes because there are 7 teams that make it.
Well, that game, though it was really close, I don't think that's going to tell us very much about this season because we have a lot of stuff coming up as a Jets fan.
Wait, are you a Giants fan or a Jets fan?
I'm starting to lean towards the Jets now, the way our Giants are playing. Oh my God. All right, well, there's going to be a lot of divisional matchups soon. You have the Bills coming up next week. You play the Dolphins twice. Those are 3 really, really tough games. But I think if you have Zach Wilson lead the team a couple more weeks and you bring Aaron Rodgers in, which is like miraculous. It's amazing that he came off of like a terrible injury. Thought he would be retiring just then. And he's just coming back in a couple of weeks. I think if Zach Wilson is able to lead this team for long enough to just like stall for Aaron Rodgers' arrival,
if they win 2 of these next 3 games, the complexion of the season changes. You're 4-5 going into 3 tough games versus being 6-6 with a pretty even record against your divisional opponents and a clear shot at making it. So these next 3 games now really matter.
Crucial. Yeah, you have to win at least one, like preferably 2 here, because let's say you lose all 3.
while you're
You
at
go
it.
through, you're
there's
4-8. That's not looking very good.
If you lose all 3, you're out. You lose
Yeah.
1, you're still probably out. You lose 2, you got a shot. At this
Mhm.
point, if you're a Jets fan, you're looking for a shot.
What are you hoping, Adam? What do you think about this Jets situation right now?
You know, here's the thing about the Jets. They spent a bunch of draft capital
Mhm.
for Shohei
Shohei Ohtani.
for
You're on the sport,
Aaron
buddy.
Rodgers. He might as well be Shohei Ohtani.
All right.
For Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. And then you come back with this. And now I don't think that they have a first round draft pick this year, and you have no
Yeah.
signs of getting better anytime soon. And if they don't make the playoffs this year, the Jets need to tear it down, actually.
Yeah.
Minus sauce.
It's really unfortunate. They've
No
been
sauce. Minus
Bro.
sauce. You gotta tear it
it's
down.
really sad. They rebuilt a couple years ago, and then now they're finally good. But just like injuries have torn them apart, especially Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just threw away all of their future. I mean, they still have Sauce, which is like really good for them. They have Brees Hall, who's also pretty young. I think he'll be top 5 really soon. But besides that, you don't have any future. You lost most of your first round draft picks. You just put everything into Rodgers, and then he just got injured after 4 snaps of play, which is not fun.
Well, up next we have hopefully a little bit more of a. I guess I should have used Shohei Ohtani as a segue because now we're going to talk about some baseball, my favorite sport.
Let's
Baseball
go.
off-season time.
All
Really
right.
exciting. I mean, very interesting free agency class. We're going to do a few predictions here. So we're going to start off at the top of the top, Mr. Shohei Ohtani.
All right. So I know most people know that Ohtani is like my favorite player. He's really representing the Asians out there. Regarding like where he's gonna go, of course, as a Mets fan, I would wish he would come here. But I remember earlier this year, he was saying that he would like to stay on the West Coast. He wouldn't want to come to something crazy like New York. So I think that he may come to somewhere like San Francisco or even like Texas for the Rangers. I think he'll go there.